Hi, my name is Katrina Suarez, and today our topic is the use of antibiotics in food animals, and our position is against. First, some history of antibiotics. Antibiotics were first discovered in 1928 by Dr. Alexander Fleming when he discovered penicillin. Antibiotics were first started being used during World War II when there was a mass production of penicillin. But antibiotics did not start being used in livestock till 1949. Background on antibiotics. Antibiotics are substances that can destroy bacteria in both humans and livestock. Antibiotics are put in animal feed and water to help improve growth, feed efficiency, clinical diseases, and control diseases. Antibiotics are used to help meat and production animals grow at faster rates, so that way we can get the most out of them at their youngest viable ages. Antibiotics also help with feed efficiency, so that way farmers can get the most out of their feed without using large amounts of it. Antibiotics also help treat clinical diseases along with disease control within a herd, whether it's keeping a disease from coming back into the herd or trying to prevent the disease from coming into the herd at all. Antibiotics are also used in two different contexts: therapy, which is the treatment and control of clinical diseases and injuries, and growth with the growth of market and production animals, so that way we can get the most out of these animals as quickly as possible. Antibiotics are also used with animals with about 80% of the amount that is produced and sold in the United States, while only about 19% of these antibiotics are used in humans. Ethical views. First, the risk to human health. The wide and overuse of antibiotics results in the creation of superbugs and many other life-threatening diseases, which creates the biggest risk to human health with animals being fed antibiotics. Disease resistance, which can be transferred from humans to humans from various animal proteins. This is because antibiotics that are being used over and over again with different bacteria create resistance in these bacteria because they are getting used to the different factors that these antibiotics are using to destroy them. The bacteria is becoming stronger, so they are not killed off by the antibiotic. Also, with overusing these antibiotics, we are limiting the amount of treatment options we have to help fight off these diseases and infections, resulting in a stronger, more viable disease that is harder and takes much longer to cure, resulting in more stress on humans and animals. Ethical views: the potential damages to animal welfare. Antibiotics create more diseases for animals to fight off. When they get rid of one type of disease that they are trying to fight off, they are creating another type of disease because this bacteria is getting used to the antibiotic that was being used to fight off a different type of bacteria, making the new one even stronger and much harder to fight off and cure, resulting in more damage to the animal's body. Also, when antibiotics kill off one type of bacteria that this animal's body is used to having in their system, it creates more room for different types of bacteria that these animals are not used to having in their system. Also, with the large use of antibiotics in in an animal's body, it becomes harder to find a more effective cure to help these diseases and infections. Because the antibiotic is overused, the bacteria is used to the factors of the antibiotic, and it takes quite a long time to come up with a new cure that is highly effective for a long period of time. Sociological importance. The antibiotic resistance. Antibiotic resistance is the biggest public health challenge in the United States for humans and livestock, because every time an antibiotic is used, it is spreading more antibiotic resistance because it is being used over and over again. Every bacteria that is in the animal's body is building up walls to be able to protect itself from being killed off by this antibiotic, so then they become harder to kill off in the long run. Antibiotic resistance is spread through people, animals, and the environment. Antibiotics become less effective and lose the effectiveness of their treatment the more and more they are used, because the bacteria is used to this antibiotic, so they are able to fight off all the things this antibiotic is using to kill them off, and just stay in the animal's body until a new effective way is found to be able to fight off the disease, which takes a very long period of time. But the CDC is coming up with a solution to help fight off antibiotic resistance, which is reducing the unnecessary need of antibiotics in an animal. With a program, the NRP, which is the U.S. National Reduce Program. This program reduces the small amounts of leftover antibiotics given to an animal. So instead of antibiotics just being given to animals because it's in their feed, it is being given for more effective reasons to help the animal's health and growth.
This is Amber Wickham now starting with current events regarding antibiotic use in food animals. Current events regarding this issue are at an increasingly improving rate. The FDA actually shows signs of purchasing antibiotics for food animals to be declining in numbers lately. Statistics from a 2016 to 2017 study shows that domestic sales and distribution have decreased 33%. The FDA actually just made a new rule to be implemented January 1st of 2017. So just a few years ago, under guidance for industry number 213, thus stating specific antibiotics that are important in modern medicine cannot be used in livestock anymore. So medicines that are treated with humans that can be used in modern medicine these days for healthy benefits cannot be used in livestock to decrease that risk of antibiotic resistance that we can accumulate from food animals. As of today, the current change to improve this issue is to require less over-the-counter availability in antibiotics. 95% of important antibiotics in animal water and feed for therapeutic reasons require veterinarian oversight. So not only does it require more supervision, it also makes it more costly to influence the person not to use them at all, especially if they are not needed. For an example, a 2015 organic cattle farmer in New York shared his story. He bought 13 bulls at $5,000 a piece, and after many animals dying out of his hurt, he had spent more than $100,000 trying to save the rest in necropsies and other non-antibiotic expenses. After all of this complications, he still chooses to do organic farming and supports the tax. It even takes him 27 months to get to market without using antibiotics. This is about twice as long as other farmers that do use antibiotics. Still, now to get to the informed opinion specifying against the use of antibiotics in food animals. Animals do carry amounts of bacteria in their gut, and this bacteria can be antibiotic resistant. This can get transferred from animal to consumer, causing health problems. Significantly, 23,000 deaths in America occur yearly due to this situation, and also 34 billion in financial losses. There are many antibiotic treatments involving cattle that can be important for production and important for the animal health. However, it does seem to be a little excessive and unimportant and unnecessary for the health risks that it causes in humans. For example, 16% of all lactating dairy cows in the United States get antibiotic therapy for clinical mastitis each year. But nearly all dairy cows get intramammary infusions of prophylactic doses of antibiotics following each lactation, just to prevent and control future mastitis. So 16% and nearly all dairy cows are treated with the antibiotics. And we use dairy cows for a lot of our food animal products like milk, cheese, yogurt, etc. So then another example is regarding beef calves and respiratory diseases. 15% of beef calves that enter feedlots get antibiotics for the treatment of clinical respiratory disease. But therapeutic antibiotic doses are also administered to 10% of healthy calves to prevent anticipated outbreaks of respiratory disease. So they give 15% for calves that need it, and 10% to healthy calves that don't need it at all, just to prevent a complication in the future that would cost the farmer more money in vet bills and stuff. Another example regarding beef calves is tylosin. 42% of beef calves in feedlots are fed tylosin to prevent liver abscesses that negatively impact growth. And even about 88% of growing swine meat, which is pork, in the United States receive antibiotics in their feed for disease prevention and growth promotion purposes, commonly known as tetracyclines or tylosin. So tylosin is not only just used in beef calves for a preventative measure and to improve growth. It is also used in swine, which is another very popular food animal. So in conclusion, antibiotics create one of the biggest health risks for humans by creating a resistance to antibiotics through the transition of eating animals. This can include cows, sheep, chickens, swine, etc. This issue first started with penicillin in 1928. This caused people to be immune to the beneficial effects of penicillin. So when doctors try to treat their patients with penicillin to help them get over another bacterial disease, it did not work. And at the time in 1928, that was their only medicinal measure towards the diseases.